It's Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship Racing. The 250 class is always wide open. It's always exciting. It's always unpredictable. And we've got the first moto of that division coming up right now live on Fuel TV. Definitely going to be exciting to watch, so don't go anywhere. Fans are fired up for this. We just completed our 450 race in Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship Racing. Now onto the 250 bikes. Young riders, smaller machines that will definitely be starving for horsepower up in the thin air of Colorado. Give you the big picture storylines. Tyla Rattray, the veteran from South Africa, leads the Pro Circuit team and the series in the point standings, but it's only by a very, very small margin. More on that in a moment. How about some privateers breaking through? Darryn Durham, Double D, running on a shoestring budget, but running with the big budget factory teams on the track. Very impressive what Durham has done so far in 2011. And this man, Dean Wilson, was the fastest rider in practice. We mentioned that Tyla Rattray's points lead is small. Wilson only 4 points back of Rattray, but he's yet to win an overall victory so far this year. So could today be the day for the number 15? What are you thinking as we go racing here, Jeff Emig?
I'm thinking that it's going to be a difficult day, and it all has to do with this altitude, because for every 1,000 feet above sea level, in elevation, you lose close to 3% of oxygen. Okay, so less oxygen when you breathe makes your heart rate and your respiratory rate increase. What also I found was interesting is that at about 6,000 feet, your body exhales and perspires twice as much moisture than at sea level. So there's all these different things. You see right there that number 6182. That really is a story here today, and it's going to make it tough for these guys, and their bodies will fatigue quicker than normal.
Let's give you the track map and show you how this layout twists and turns its way through the hills of Colorado, Jeff.
Oh, we've got this uphill start that's super deep. These 250Fs are just going to be just struggling to get up through there. Now, we've just seen the 450s here. They made the track look okay. There's some uphill triples that they were jumping. Not a problem. These 250Fs it's going to be tough there because of the lack of power that these bikes have. As we've seen in that first moto, the track is extremely challenging. The ruts and the turns are starting to get deep. Now the track is beat up from the 450s. It's a lot rougher than the last time that these 250 riders were on the track here today. All in all, it's just going to be brutal, and that's AMA Motocross. It is challenging.
Challenging in so many ways. Yeah, you throw that elevation in there with the effect it has on the bikes and the bodies. Let's get some further analysis. We'll talk to the riders themselves about what it's like to race here at Thunder Valley.
Your bikes are so slow up there, it's actually a pretty safe start, because you're going up the start street, up the hill, and you're just looking to your side, and you're still not at the top, and then finally you're at the top, and then you turn. So it's pretty safe, I think, because you're going so slow, it feels like.
You actually have to go to a first gear start a lot of times, and you have to re-gear the bike. And it's also hard on your body. You can't, there's not enough oxygen up there, so it wear you out for sure.
There's one of those things that the mechanics, you have to work with the mechanics, really talk with them and communicate with them about what you're feeling out there on the track. And when you're working with elevation at this race, it's one of those that you got to remember to breathe and stay on top of your breathing, and you'll get winded really easy up there.
Lakewood's definitely cool for me because it's a hometown race. It wasn't exactly friendly to me last year. I didn't have a great finish there, but it's definitely a cool atmosphere because it's in Colorado, and it seems like everyone in Colorado's nice.
Okay, well, let's be nice to Darryn Durham since we're in Colorado. He's our Fuel TV's one to watch in this moto, and he has definitely been one to watch all year. The privateer beating up on the big teams.
Well, and the reason that we've been watching him is because of his starts. He has been great out of the gate. You can tell that with each great start that he has, an opportunity to run up front, that he gets a little more comfortable there. And, could today be the day that he notches that top 3 or even wins the moto? There's a lot of riders on the line, though, that are going to challenge him, as this is a stacked field.
Well, that includes the rider lined up right next to him, the number 19. Let's send it down to Aaron Bates with more on the starting line. Aaron?
That's right. The number 19 of Eli Tomac is riding with a little extra incentive, being the home state boy, 7.5-hour drive away from Cortez. The incentive is if he gets on the podium today, the team will upgrade his rental car next weekend. If he wins and a flight is over 2 hours, then they're going to upgrade him to first class. So Eli Tomac, he's got a little motivation ahead of him today.
That's all it takes? Wow. We'll keep the budget down for the team.
Yeah, or the 20 years of flying that I have. I like to go first class every week.
Yeah, you don't have to pay for that.
Hey, you know, another guy we did has been great off the starts has been the 42 of Nico Izzi, lined up just to the second gate there on the Honda. He's got some pretty good starts, too.
Yeah, Izzi and Durham have both shown that the privateer bikes, the independent teams, can mix it up with the factory-backed efforts. Izzi just hasn't been able to carry it all the way to the finish, but maybe today's the day. It's in his 30-second card. Once the Rockstar Girl turns that thing sideways, and that means we are less than 30 seconds away from going racing, and then the riders will focus on the starting gate. When that thing drops, they'll go. If you go early, you get caught.
No bueno.
Yeah, that's not the way you want to do it. And Tyla Rattray mentioned is your series points leader, so you'll see the number 28 will have the red number plate background on his bike. His teammates Dean Wilson and Blake Baggett right behind him in the series.
Yeah, and he's got 2 moto wins as opposed to his teammates Wilson and Baggett, which have 3 each.
Let's go racing in the 250 class, Colorado. Justin Barcia on the 17 Geico Honda going to grab the whole shot with its rival Dean Wilson in the number 2 spot on the 15, the Kawasaki. And I believe that's another lightning fast start for Durham, who is 3rd. That's what you're talking about, Jeff.
Let's see if he can get to the inside, though, because it looked like Yamaha rider Swanepoel again with a good, solid start, running 4th.
Yeah, that's the blue bike, the 387, and he's trying to get around Durham for 3rd. He's got the 35, Kyle Cunningham right with him. And then it's Blake Baggett on the inside of 57. Look at Wilson on the 15 going after your leader, Barcia.
Okay, now look at this little double right here. Those 250Fs are struggling with that roller and then trying to get the power just to jump a 30, 35-foot double. Okay, this is going to be a tough track for these guys because of the lack of horsepower, because of the elevation. But look at the ruts coming down through there. I'm telling you, just treacherous.
Great racing for a moment. Durham was passed by Swanepoel. Now Swanepoel passed back by Durham and the 35 Cunningham. So that'll move Swanepoel from 3rd to 5th just like that. That's the type of excitement we expect in this 250 class.
And look, just behind Baggett there, Izzi with another top 10 start.
And he was getting bumped around out of the gate. Look at this. Cunningham on the blue, trying to get around the red of Durham. Martin Davalos, Rockstar Suzuki man, already out of this one. The good news is he's pushing it downhill to get into the pits.
He didn't look like he had any mud or dirt on him right there. That could possibly be a bike failure. We'll have to follow up with that.
Wow, this is close competition early in this first 250 moto. 10th, 12th, 14th, 15th place. These riders are all right on each other. There's no break in this battle at all.
That's the 250 class, you know, and out front, Barcia here, he's been suffering from mono illness, has, you know, kept his training and riding to a minimum. Says he's only riding on the weekends, just conserving his energy and trying to rest up. That's what the doctors have ordered him to do. But by doing that, look what happens with Barcia. He's fired up, grabs a start, and wants to just lay it all on the line here in these 2 motos.
Yeah, he's, like you said, put a little distance between himself and Wilson, and it's Durham, and now Baggett up into the number 4 spot. Nico Izzi, who we did see up there early, is not going to be up there now. A little trouble. Watch that, Jeff, on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, there's some rollers when you come from this side of the track on the right, and then you get through there. It's really easy to get cross-threaded. We were actually standing there during one of the qualifying practice and seeing numerous guys have problems and go flying off the outside of the track there. Nico didn't go off the outside. He kept it between these yellow track markers, but he hit the mat.
Uh-oh, here comes Blake Baggett challenging Durham around the inside. He did not double the big jump downhill, and that might allow Durham to hold him off, at least for the moment. Here's Baggett on the 57, going to try to fight back. No, Durham is still 3rd.
Here we go, Baggett, one of the lighter riders on the track, weighs around 130, 135. Dean Wilson was telling me he's right about 155, 160, and Rattray is up into the 160s. Not sure what Tickle, their other teammate, weighs, but if you think about it, on a day like today, could Baggett have the advantage by being 20 or 30 pounds lighter?
Sure looks good right now as he goes after Durham for the number 3 spot. Aaron, what do you have on the 23, Martin Davalos?
What an upsetting first moto for Martin Davalos. Martin, take us through what just happened. It looked like a mechanical from our standpoint.
Yeah, definitely. I got a decent, I mean, not the greatest start, but just go over the jump over there. My bike just shot off and almost went over the bars. I think it's a mechanical problem. I don't know what it is. The team obviously is going to have to look at my bike. It's just disappointing. It's my favorite track, and I really wanted to do good. And, you know, we're just going to go back and take a breathe and go back for the second moto.
Brush it off, regroup. We'll see you back for Moto 2.
We're going to pass here for third. Baggett has finally found his way around Durham. Durham still riding well, but Baggett wants to make a run for the front.
And getting back to that weight conversation that we're talking about, the flip side of that is that we've heard the argument that for a rider like Baggett, by being 20 or 30 pounds lighter, that the bike doesn't have as much traction because there's not as much weight pushing those tires into the ground. So I don't know. What's the outcome there?
Yeah, well, there's so many factors, I guess, is what it comes down to in motocross. Let's give you the replay of how Baggett was able to get around Durham, Jeff.
Around the outside, Durham trying to ride the inside, block the line here, and we've seen this outside start to develop, and watch Baggett just fly around the outside, keep a little more momentum, and he was committed right there. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. He was very aware, on the left side of seeing where Durham was at, and felt that he had, enough of the line to go ahead and make the commitment and make the pass.
And not too far behind Durham is 35 of Cunningham. He's pretty much hitched a ride with these two. He's been with them this entire race.
Hey, couldn't you also argue that the air's thinner here and that the bike and the rider move through the air easier?
Really? Because the air is thinner? Is that how that works?
Oh. Well, there's all kinds of factors when you come here, but the one thing that is the biggest factor.
I mean, there's a million factors.
Yeah, well, the biggest factor is the effort. The effort that the rider puts in, his determination, how bad he wants it. And our leader, Justin Barcia, right now turned 219 last lap. Wilson, Baggett, 218s, and then we get up here to Durham and Cunningham, which are up around 220, 219. So all of our top, looks like about the top 7 are pretty closely matched.
Yeah, right behind this battle for 4th and 5th, Durham and Cunningham. You got Swanepoel and then Cole Seeley. Here is your battle downhill. Cunningham around the outside.
And this line worked last lap for Baggett, and it works again. So Durham's going to have to switch it up. He's like, okay, now I've got passed twice. Next lap around, you have to remember, you have to say, okay, you have to be conscious of that. And when you come around that big sweeper, move out to that next line and try to learn from that and stop dropping the positions.
And he'll have to deal with Swanepoel on that DNA Shred 6 Star Racing Yamaha next. Just got passed by his teammate Cunningham. And Cunningham really putting together a solid summer so far. Here he is on the 35. Consistency has been something that Cunningham has been searching for the last few years, but been a top 5 guy almost every time out in 2011. Then it's Swanepoel. Then it is Seeley. Got the Lucas Oil Troy Lee Honda there, number 36. And his teammate, Travis Baker, going right with him. So the Troy Lee Lucas boys have hooked up, kind of similar to the way that Swanepoel and Cunningham, the teammates. Wait a minute, that's Tomac. He's gotten around Baker. Tomac, Colorado native, talked about at the beginning of the race. Will that play a factor here? There's Swanepoel, there is Seeley, and there Cunningham's gone down. Wow, that consistency that Cunningham has had, he's been able to avoid these types of crashes this year.
And Jason, when we had that wide shot of Tomac and Seeley and those guys coming up to start straight, I noticed that Cunningham's bike was starting to slow down. Something didn't look right.
Well, so much for the consistency, at least in this moto. It's just getting started here. Only about 10 minutes into our first 250 moto. Going to be exciting right down to the finish, so stay with us. We're back. Justin Barcia leading the way of Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship 250 class racing, but it is tight. Dean Wilson right behind him, Blake Baggett right behind him. Stay tuned for a special sneak preview of the new Fuel TV Fall Series Strangers in Danger right after this race. We got 2 riders who are not strangers to each other, but there is some danger when they hook up. Barcia and Wilson, 1st and 2nd, have been bumping and banging on each other all year long, and we've got the setup for another one of those classic duels right now.
Yeah, and Baggett just at the tail end of this group here. He's closed it all up. Wilson and Baggett both turning 216s and Barcia 217, but now that they've caught him, those numbers should start to equalize, and this is all going to be about tactical riding, about choosing good lines, not making any mistakes to allow the rider behind you possibly, like Wilson and Baggett here battling, and to keep your flow. And it's going to be tough here on Wilson because he's kind of sandwiched in between these 2 riders.
And he's got the guy known for the come-from-behind charges We're calling him El Chupacabra, the 57, who about the halfway mark in the moto likes to turn it up. And he did just turn the fastest lap of this moto the last time around. That's Blake Baggett. Actually, this is about as far forward as we've seen him this early in a race this year. Most of the time, he's 8th, 9th, 10th, and then starts to turn it up. So got to be comfortable in this position.
Yeah, and let's listen to these bikes here for just 1 second. As they come through these sections, it's really obvious that these riders are just revving these bikes. RPMs are much higher than normal. Here's Wilson to the inside.
Whoa, just like that, Wilson able to strike. No one has been able to make that inside line work. We've seen a lot of passes around the outside. Just like that, Wilson into the lead. Will Barcia be able to strike back? He is not one that usually takes being passed lightly, and he's not. He's trying to come back.
Barcia down the inside, Wilson right in the middle, and you got Baggett way on the outside. 3 different riders, 3 line choices, then there's Baggett.
Baggett sneaks up on Barcia just like Wilson did. So now you got the Kawasaki's 1-2. Can Bam Bam Barcia do some bam-bamming and get these boys back, or are we looking at a 2-rider fight for the #1 spot? Here is Baggett, and they are beginning to distance themselves from Barcia.
Well, you look at Wilson right now, it looks like he took a deep breath once he got into the lead right there and kind of mellowed out for a second, but Baggett is still on it, and the thing that Barcia's going to need to do is, you know, follow these guys' line. He obviously was guarding the insides, he kept his position, but he wasn't setting the fast time. So what he needs to do is just, hey, get in the dust, get in the roost, and see what hot lines these guys have that will allow them so much speed.
Baggett running outside, inside, everything he can. Oh, and the same line there as Wilson almost came together. This is where he likes to strike, about the halfway mark. Wheel to wheel. Wilson, Baggett with Barcia watching them. Barcia's right back in this one.
Let's see, Baggett's got the momentum on the outside. It will become the inside.
And it's going to become the lead. Wilson's got to fight back long straightaway past the McKenna Mechanics area. And
got him back.
Wilson got him back. Somehow able to avoid contact, about a millimeter between those 2 bikes. They didn't touch. Wilson able to take the lead. Oh, and Baggett, how did he do that? Gently cut from outside to inside. El Chupacabra strikes again, he's in the lead. And Wilson returning fire again.
Look at Wilson with those long legs, that tall frame that he has, trying to work the Kawasaki, but nothing doing. Baggett just seems to be floating around the track right now. Look at that. And watch, just has got his lines. He's carrying so much momentum.
Well, I'm out of oxygen up here in the announcer's tower. I cannot believe the battle we just had. I got to catch my breath. Meanwhile, Baggett in the lead. Watch this exchange. Take us through the pass, Jeff.
Well, Wilson had just made the pass back on Baggett. Watch him. Just instinct says, I'm going to go to the inside here. I know this line had pushed wide. Just the shorter way around right there. Nice pass, Blake Baggett.
So now Barcia going back to work on Wilson. Every time we think, well, Barcia's got mono, he's going to start to fatigue, he seems to find a second or third or fourth wind, an altitude-adjusted second, third, or fourth wind, but here he is, not allowing the 15 to get away from him.
Well, and he's found some of those lines. He started riding some different areas. You can see right now he still likes the short. Oh, that was a big mistake. Now we don't see him.
He might have gone down. He must have.
Top of our screen on the right. Still don't see him.
We see some commotion up there. Is that Barcia trying to get up? Talk about that downhill rutted section and what happens when you come through there, and how difficult it is to keep the bike going straight in those ruts.
Yeah, Barcia chose the inside there, and just as he went out of frame, it looked like his weight got sent to the right-hand side, and if he high-sided in those ruts, he definitely could have gone down. The bottom line is Barcia has dropped out of the battle for the lead.
And speaking of dropping out, Aaron has the 35 of Kyle Cunningham. Aaron?
That's right. Kyle Cunningham was another rider that fell victim to having a mechanical out there. Kyle, take us through what happened from your perspective.
I'm not too sure. They're working on the bike right now. It was early in the race. I think we were like on lap 4. And I just passed Durham for 4th and made my way back up onto Baggett and Dino, and just came around right here after the finish, and the bike started cutting out to where it was shutting off. So I guess we'll regroup and try and get it fixed and go out and do good in the next moto.
Could have been a number of different things, Jason. One thing that I do know is that the tuning for the motorcycles here, what they're trying to do with these 250Fs is squeeze all the horsepower out of them that they can. You know, did they have the bike leaned out too much? Did they use a different cam timing? Something. Well, let's take a look here at Barcia. Yeah, he definitely was off the bike as you see him jumping around.
Wow.
Look how far he flew off the bike. I mean, he was a good 10 or 15 feet past the bike.
Well, the hills are deceptive. The camera doesn't always show. When you get off on those downhill sections, you're going to go tumbling. Meanwhile, Barcia's teammate, the 19 of Tomac, has caught Darryn Durham in a battle for the last podium spot. That'd be third place. So another matchup between the independent Honda, the 1110 mods machine, which is put together basically with a couple of buddies in a shop in Pennsylvania, and that's what Durham's riding. And then on the inside, you got the 19 of Tomac, and his machine is the full factory Geico Honda race bike. And right now,
new line.
Wow, where did that come from? Tomac takes third, and nicely done.
Yeah, he kind of jumped from that. That's kind of a split section, and he kind of went from the middle, made that left, and then jumped out to the right. Wow, nice move.
Oh,
see, he gets a little high-sided right there as he went down and his weight got to the right.
Durham tries to retaliate up with that move. Yeah. Not able to make it happen, but man, these ruts are unforgiving, eh?
Oh, it's so brutal, and this is where your technique, if you can be strict with that, it will make your day so much better. Sometimes you see these guys in the ruts, they start to drag their inside foot instead of having the inside foot up and in front of them, in front of the handlebar, okay, and kind of up by the front fender. When your technique starts to break down, you start to drag your feet behind you, and then that wants to tear you off the bike, okay, and so then your core strength gets taxed as you're trying to hold yourself onto the bike. Yeah, it's difficult.
Watching the 387 of Swanepoel, who has caught Barcia, who has recovered from that crash. So now they are 5th and 6th. There's Barcia 17. Swanepoel followed by Cole Seeley. So a nice mix of different brands, different teams here, duking it out.
Even different countries. Hemispheres.
Yeah. But speaking of different countries, Swanepoel, the South African, is in 6th. Where is our points leader, Tyla Rattray? He is 9th. The other South African rider really struggling so far in this moto. And Rattray is normally known for his consistency. In 9th place, not what we expect from your series leader. Go back to this battle here with Swanepoel trying to get Barcia for the number 5 spot. So a couple different stories to follow right now as you watch these riders battling. You got Dean Wilson in 2nd, but if the moto ends like this, Wilson will take the championship lead over from Rattray. But 10 minutes and 2 laps to go in the altitude. These guys are going to get fatigued. Rattray's got time to make up ground, especially if Barcia and Swanepoel here slow each other as they continue to steal lines, battle, try to make passes. It's a 250 class. What do you expect? There's always a good race going on. Stay tuned. Fuel TV's live coverage of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship continues here in Colorado. Cole Seeley, Justin Barcia duking it out. We got the superstars of the 250 class on the track, and Erin Bates is a superstar of her own down next to the track. Erin, who do you have?
That's right, a very special guest, Cam Sinclair, Australia's own, and you're an X Games freestyle gold medalist. Cam, you had said that you've never been here to a race in America yet. What prompted you to come here to this one, and how much fun are you having today?
I've been hanging to come here, my whole career I've been looking up to these guys, so the guys from Rockstar brought me out. I'm out here, 4 weeks before X Games, getting ready, so we're having a great time. It's awesome, Great to meet all my heroes I've been looking up to.
Whole different discipline. Great having you here. Nice to see you, Cam Sinclair.
Yeah, he's the master, doing double backflips and things like this. These guys throw it more sideways than they do.
I've seen every one of these guys do a flip at one time or another. Unintentional.
Unintentional, yes. We saw Barcia do a couple of tumbles and flips earlier when he was running in 3rd, and that has cost him dearly because now he has been passed by Cole Seeley, and he's got Broc Tickle all over him. Tickle is 8th, Barcia is 7th, and even if Tickle gets by, Travis Baker, Tyla Rattray, they are not too far behind. That is what makes this 250 class so interesting. You can go back, 15, 20 spots, and these guys all run the same pace.
Now, the point where right here at 28, Tyla Rattray is at right now, the gap, each position that he potentially can pick up is worth a point.
Right.
Once he gets to 6th and then 5th, it starts to change, and those will be worth 2 points. So big
Tickle.
incentive right now for Rattray and the whole landscape of this championship. If he can get up there by Seeley and Swanepoel and possibly Durham, can make some points back in this this ride that he's putting in. Even though the finish might not be quite what he was hoping for, points-wise, it won't be quite that devastating. But right now, quite a few points behind just in this one moto.
Just want to mention that Tickle had gotten the spot from Barcia, and now Barcia might get passed by Rattray. What are you seeing in the riding style of Barcia? Is the fatigue possibly playing a factor here? He's going backwards.
Well, he's lost a bit of his rhythm right now, and doesn't quite have the lines. There goes another
pass.
spot.
Wow. Standing up, coming into the corner a little bit.
I'll tell you what, though, for Rattray to be 34 seconds behind the leader, considering he's came from so far back. I mean, the top 10 here is within 40 seconds, and that says a lot for the depth of talent and speed in this class. Okay, in the 450 class, that stretches out a little bit because our 3 leaders have started to gap themselves, but here there's a lot of competition, and so this is a really tough job that Rattray's having to do here today to fight his way up through these positions.
Well, he can see a few riders in front, and now Tickle can see Rattray behind him as he looks over that jump. So Rattray can see Tickle on the 20. That would be 8th. Or actually 7th now. They've gotten around Barcia. He can see 7th, Tickle, and 6th, Cole Seeley. So maybe 2 more positions that Rattray can get by the time this moto is over. But Tickle and Seeley are not going to be easy to get around. And let's give a shout out to Travis Baker, the other Lucas Oil Troy Lee Honda rider, who is searching for a top 10, and he's there right now in 10th. But kind of a mixed season for Travis. 2nd year as a pro, 1st year on this team. And the standard has been set. You mentioned how this Troy Lee Lucas Oil team has really had a breakthrough this year. Seeley got a few wins in Supercross. So does that put more pressure on someone like Baker when you see your teammate going out there getting some wins and running up front?
No, it's not pressure. It's just encouragement.
Okay.
This is all positive stuff.
Yep.
And look what they're doing on the 450 side. In Moto 1 here, which we saw earlier on Fuel TV, was Christian Craig on a 450.
Right.
Okay, now he was meant to ride the little bike, but the big bike just shoots his style. So now this team has got riders running inside the top 10 in both of our disciplines.
And a pass. Tickle has gotten around Seeley. So that will move Tickle up to the number 6 spot. And Rattray is going to try to follow him through. There's Rattray on the 28. Going to try to get Seeley on the 36. Rattray just paddling his way through those deep ruts. Now they got a right-hander, and Rattray positioning himself on the inside, but not able to make the pass.
Hey, Seeley shuts the door. Rattray, you can tell he wanted to get the drive up the hill there. And he's just going, come on, bike, move up this hill. And it's just not squirting up those uphills like it would if we were down at sea level, that's for sure.
Oh, man, some deep ruts on the entry to that corner. Rattray played it perfectly, and he makes the move on Seeley. So Rattray following Tickle through. That will now make them 6th and 7th. 2 minutes, 50 seconds, and 2 laps left in this race. Maybe Rattray can make another pass or 2, make up some more points.
You know what I love about watching Rattray and his style? He's kind of got that hunched over style, and these last 4 weeks, the last 4 races, you just see him, he uses so much of the track, and he's really good at just developing a flow around the track and not kind of sticking to one area. And he's just exceptional that way. And especially here today, that's why right now he's laying down about a 2:20 lap time. Well, basically all of our top 8 are, but that's what allows him to just flow around the track. And instead of having to use the horsepower, he uses his momentum. Now he's got the momentum on his teammate.
Whoa, going to the inside. And that's what you're talking about, Jeff. He used the entire racetrack to set that pass up, and he's got the spot over Tickle. Tickle going to try to get it back. Not going to happen.
Well, and when Broc watches the replay there, he made a little mistake in that right-hander, stalled out just a little bit, and when they came up over that left-hander with the rollers, Rattray just had the flow.
So Rattray into 6th, but he would like to have a lot more than that. In front of Swanepoel, Durham 4th, Tomac 3rd, Wilson 2nd, and Blake Baggett continues to lead. So another great day for the Monster Pro Circuit boys.
So right now, Rattray in this moto, 10 points behind Baggett.
And that would be 7 behind Wilson. So the points lead might change hands by the end of this moto, but don't worry. Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross, we race twice every weekend. Rattray will have his chance to get a better start and a better finish later today. Stay with us live on Fuel TV.
Kawasaki's good.
You're watching your leader here of the 250 First Moto, a mile high up here at Lakewood, Colorado. It's the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Blake Baggett leading here at this Toyota Trucks Thunder Valley National. Watch the best Kung Fu cult classic films every Saturday only on Fuel TV, late night at 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. Go to fuel.tv for movie titles. I got a movie title here. El Chupacabra. This kid, Blake Baggett, making a statement. No, he doesn't just win races, he wins them by passing people, which in this class, with this kind of talent and competition, is not supposed to be easy to do, but he makes it look pretty easy.
It is the summer's blockbuster, thriller, action film.
Yes.
All brought to you by Mitch Payton, Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Man.
Well, you got a ticket to watch this one. He's got a 10-second lead over Dean Wilson, and Wilson riding well, and in fact, Wilson, we believe, would be the series points leader by the time this moto is over. But Baggett keeps putting in motos like this. He was 30 points down coming into today's racing. He can close the gaps on those guys. And normally Baggett, he does have the light weight we talked about. He told me after High Point he weighs 127 pounds. And no matter what he does, he cannot put weight on. He actually has lost a few pounds since the beginning of the year with the training and the riding.
That's what I'm saying.
But
can't put it on.
That's a Jeff Emig problem, right? Nice problem to have, bud. But the starts, you would think, well, he's got power to weight ratio. He's going to win the drag race. It's not the starts that are really doing it for him.
Well, you know, a few years back, when I was riding Kawasaki's, Norm Bigelow on our team, he swore that the fact that my KX250 was about 232. Okay, this thing was heavy, way heavier than the other bikes. He swore that that's why I got great starts, and why on a track like today, where maybe it's a little bit hard and slippery in spots, that the bike weighed more and it got better bite and better drive because of that. Could he be suffering because of his light weight in traction? He's not getting the traction.
I'm not kidding. I talked to him back at the beginning of the year when he first got on this team, and he said, yeah, I'm lighter, but my bike, my tires spin out of the turns when the other guys at 30 more pounds don't. I don't know, whatever he's doing, it's working pretty darn well. It didn't look like a drawback to me. Dominating this moto, and really it has been up to him. When he's feeling it, they haven't been able to stop him, but he has not been there every single moto this year.
No, but if you think about it, every other race has been Baggett's race.
Good point.
Right?
And we're up to every other.
This is the 5th race of the year.
Aaron is down in the mechanics area of Blake's mechanic. What are you hearing, Aaron?
That's right. I'm here with Sean Irwin, Blake's mechanic. Sean, Blake had said to me earlier this afternoon that it seems to be the luck is in his side every other weekend. What have you guys done differently to turn it around this weekend?
Nothing really, just keep doing the same old thing and hope for the best.
Have you guys been overwhelmed in the challenges of the elevation here, trying to get this 250F prepared for this race?
No, we've always done pretty well here, so we're just keeping the tradition.
Almost there. Good luck.
Okay, I'm sure they'd like to win 2 in a row. And we're gonna put Sean Irwin on the spot.
Aaron, I need you to put him on the spot and ask about his low weight, his body weight, if that hurts the traction off the line. That's what I'd like to know. That's something they address.
Yeah, he's got to get down there.
Sean, they want me to ask you, because Baggett is so light in stature, what is that like for him to get off a starting line, especially uphill? Is that an advantage?
It's a little bit of an advantage for sure. They say 7 pounds is a horsepower, so you can take every bit you can get here.
Take what you can get.
Well, wait a minute. Then Jeff's got all these equations and calculations: altitude minus horsepower times. Maybe we could take the 7 pounds per horsepower times the altitude, the barometric pressure.
Okay, look, there is what's called
there's no way you're going to figure this equation out.
Altitude correction, and you take into account the air density and the barometric pressure, which are different all the time to get actually the corrected altitude. And if the air is really good and cold and dense, then it could make it feel less like you were in less altitude. But today it's hot and dry, and I guarantee for the engines and for the riders, it feels like 6,100 feet above sea level, and it's challenging. It hurts.
Challenging for everyone but Baggett, who started about 5th, quickly worked his way up to 3rd, was able to get around Dean Wilson, then Justin Barcia. Barcia and Wilson were battling, and he got around both of them fairly quickly. But we'll give credit. He's had the moto wins and a couple of overalls, but he has not been as consistent as his teammate Wilson. So Wilson in 2nd, probably not happy about not winning this moto. But Wilson, pretty strong rider himself, and we might see a rematch between these two later in the day. But right now it is all about Blake Baggett. And when he won a couple of weeks ago at High Point in Pennsylvania, His dad told me, hey, we grew up down the street from Jeff Emig. Of course he knows how to ride well.
That's right.
That's what he told me.
Just looking at pictures, he probably learned a whole bunch.
Okay. Beautiful style that he learned from Jeff Emig. That's, you know, most riders hope to meet a top-level racer maybe once in their life at a race. He lived down the street from you growing up, Blake Baggett?
Yeah, we lived on the same street. But I can tell you, he's put in a great effort, and he has just developed from the amateur ranks. And let's take a look at the years of knowledge here and the instinct that he has. Watch right here. He just sees it, knows that Dean's going this way. He's going to go back to the inside. I mean, that was pretty easy pass right there. Didn't have to trade any paint. Well, I mean, they're both wearing, it's both green, so you wouldn't even see it.
You can't tell. But before that, 3 or 4 turns before that, they were darn close. Yeah, they were running hard.
I don't see nothing. I don't see anything.
Okay. Yeah, green on green. And also black and white. Checkered flag for Blake Baggett, who's got yet another moto win. There's the mechanic for Dean Wilson, Paul Parabinos, waiting to see his rider cross the line. About 15 seconds was the gap at the beginning of the final lap. We'll see what it is here. Wilson does take the checkered flag, second place. That might just put him into the series points lead at the moment.
Yeah, and we've seen that shot just as we went away. Look at Baggett. He's got a hydration bottle in his hand, and he is not wasting any time getting those fluids back in his body so he can recover from Moto 2.
Eli Tomac just crossed the line in third. That's the Colorado native, who's still looking for a good start. Battle down to the finish, not for position. The lapped rider, 37, Darryn Durham, continuing his strong summer, finishes 4th. Rattray right behind him will take 5th. 6th going to be Swanepoel. Tickle coming across the line. Give me the rest of the top 10 when we return. There's Dean Wilson, scored some points, but didn't get the moto win that he wanted. We'll talk to him about that when we're back.
Dirty mouth, huh? What have you been up to?
Welcome back. Just completed our first 250 class moto of Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship racing on Fuel TV. And once we're done racing, don't forget we'll have a little sneak preview of the new Fuel TV Fall Series, Strangers in Danger. So keep locked into Fuel TV as soon as we're done racing today. And we're going to lock it on to the podium with Aaron Bates, who has our moto winner. Aaron?
It was considered a bounce back for Blake Baggett after a 7th place last weekend. Blake, you had said this morning that every other weekend seems to work in your favor. What is it that you're going to do to turn that theory around?
I really don't know. Just going to try to plug away every weekend and give it my hardest. You know, I give it my best, and some weekends aren't as good as others. But I got to give it up to my team: Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Thor, Parts Unlimited, Volcom, Traxxas, RC cars. Keep us occupied during the week when we're bored. My mom, my dad, my girlfriend, my trainer, Alden Baker. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. And let's see if we can go do that again in the second moto.
Terrific job from start to finish.
Well, now we know who won this moto. We'll show you the rest of the results here. Dean Wilson, teammate to Baggett, takes 2nd. Eli Tomac through the pack for 3rd. Durham 4th. Rattray 5th. Not what he wanted.
Not what he wanted, but he was outside of the top 20 and rode up to 5th and passed about 5 guys just in the last few laps.
Let's send it back down to the podium with Aaron and our 3rd place finisher, Eli Tomac.
Well, he's considered the home state boy, being 7 hours away, but Eli, a lot of family, a lot of friends supporting you here this weekend. Something that you focused on solely this week was starts. How crucial is that here today?
I didn't get the best start, but it wasn't too bad, you know. And luckily there's a lot of lines out there on the track, and it's a really good layout for racing. I had a blast out there.
Congratulations on a job well done.
Big talk, big sports, big tunes, Daily Habit, the wildest late night party on television, weeknights at 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, only on Fuel TV. And let's send it back down to Aaron on the podium. Aaron?
Dean Wilson crashed hard last week at Budds Creek during practice, and then again during second practice today. Dean, you went and got an MRI done on your wrist. It is sprained. How is it holding up out there with no brace on it at all?
No, it's fine. It's not a problem at all. I mean, I rode once this week and kind of just let it rest. It's not that big of a deal at all. But yeah, I mean, I felt okay that moto, got a bit of arm pump, but you know, Blake was hauling out there. He's riding so fast right now, and but yeah, I mean, I just couldn't do it without everybody that's helped me out. Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Thor, Dunlop, Mechanic Paul, my dad watching at home, Toyota Escondido for my sick truck. Everybody, thank you so much.
What else can you do for moto number 2 to get that first overall this season?
Oh, I mean, well, I kind of suffered a little bit of arm pump that first moto, honestly, but you know, just ride a little bit smoother. I was real tight and timid, so just chill out a little bit and hit my lines and find better lines, and I'll be good.
Just real quick, explain arm pump, Jeff Emig.
Well, arm pump is in your forearms when the blood starts to fill up in your forearms from gripping the grips and holding on too tight and not relaxing your grip. Forearms start to swell up with blood, and then all of a sudden you can't use your hands. They just don't move like they can do. Use the throttle and the brake, clutch, all that.
All right, we'll see if he can relax that grip and do a little better later tonight when we'll have 250 coverage. We'll have some more information on that when we return live on Fuel TV. We're back. It's the Toyota Trucks Thunder Valley National, Lakewood, Colorado, round 5 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Once we're off there with our live motocross racing, we'll give you a little preview of the upcoming Fuel TV fall show, Strangers in Danger. So don't go anywhere once we're done. Meanwhile, we're going to recap exactly how this 250 Moto 1 broke down. Early leader was Justin Barcia in the 17, but here comes Dean Wilson, going to sneak attack on the inside, and Wilson puts his Kawasaki into the #1 spot. But the rider to watch was in third. Blake Baggett on the 57, going to ride the tightrope around the outside, just able to keep the bike on the racetrack, and he gets around Barcia for second, and then sets up his teammate Wilson. They battle, and then with this move, knifing to the inside, Baggett was able to take the lead, and he would not be challenged from there. He would win by 12.2 seconds over his teammate Wilson. Eli Tomac would take third, and a nice ride by Darryn Durham through the pack to take fourth, and he is with Aaron right there on the racetrack. Aaron?
That's right. Well, his best moto finish so far of the season. Darryn, you had said that it would be an absolute dream come true to make it up onto that podium. You were so close to that dream coming true. How do you feel?
Yeah, it was a good race. You know, I still got a shot at the podium overall, so that's what I'm shooting for, and I'm going to make a few changes for next moto and come out swinging.
What does it mean to you as a privateer to come to a racetrack that presents so many challenges, not only physically, but as far as the bike as well and power? What does this mean to you to be able to overcome all of that and come out where you're at in 4th place right now?
You know, it means a lot. We worked hard. You know, I've been working hard on my fitness, and the guys from Renegade Fuels got my bike running good for the altitude and 1110 mods and Volcom. Just everyone's helping out, and you know, it was a pretty good moto. I'm looking forward to Moto 2.
Good luck. Go get ready to do it all over again.
Give you the results here from this moto. We'll give you the full rundown. 40 riders competed in this one. We'll show you exactly where they all finished. We mentioned Tyla Rattray, your points leader, coming in through the pack for 5th. His countryman from South Africa, Gareth Swanepoel, right behind him. Tickle, Sealy, Barcia, and Baker round out the top 10. We go just outside of that. Alex Martin, that's Darryn Durham's teammate, finishes 11th. Nico Izzi had his problems early in the race with a crash, ends up 12th, so he fought back. Austin Howell and Malcolm Stewart, 13th and 20th. They are now teammates on the Suzuki City team. Les Smith, brand new to Rockstar Suzuki, had never ridden the bike until this morning. It's a replacement rider for the injured Hunter Hewitt, who's replacing Ryan Morais. Smith takes 21st. And the rest of the field, 30 through 40. And there's big names here. Kyle Cunningham with bike problems last in this one. That's not where he wanted to be. And Davalos did get back on the track after some trouble early, but he was 36 because he was several laps down. Jeff, what do you think after that first moto? Is this the Blake Baggett we saw at round 1 and 3 and round 5? He's the odd man.
Yeah. The odd man is in this situation, and once again he rode with relative ease. He looked like his technique and all that was exactly what it needed to be. And Wilson, Tomac, those guys are going to have to do something special if they're going to catch him, because they got a lot of time to make up.
If they catch him in the second moto, you'll have a chance to see it tonight. Switch over to speed. We'll have back-to-back coverage, 450 class, 250 class. That's midnight Eastern and 1 a.m. Eastern, 2 straight hours of second moto action from this Toyota Trucks Thunder Valley National on speed. We'll see if Ryan Villopoto and Blake Baggett can repeat their first moto success in Moto 2. This year it has been very tough for riders to back up Moto 1 wins in the second one, especially with the altitude sapping some of the energy. What do you think, Jeff? Can these guys rebound, or are we looking for a sweep?
Well, it's going to be tough. Second moto is going to be more physically demanding on the riders.
Absolutely, especially in this type of temperature. And when we're done, just keep tuned in. Strangers in Danger, we're going to give you a big sneak preview. It's the new fall series, Strangers in Danger. Little preview coming up next on Fuel TV, so don't go anywhere when we're done racing Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship racing. And by the way, we actually are done. A big thanks to you for watching our weekly coverage. We'll be right here again Saturday afternoon, 7 days from now from Redbud, so don't miss it. For Aaron Bates and Jeff Emig, Jason Wygant, big thanks to you for watching us. Congratulations to Ryan Villapoto and Blake Baggett for taking our moto wins. Stay tuned for Strangers in Danger on Fuel TV, and we'll see you next week from Michigan and Redbud.
Through 4 rounds, Kawasaki's Tyla Rattray is setting the pace in the battle for the 2011 AMA Championship.
And he will extend it with a big win here at Buck Street.
The likable South African is striving for an American championship to go along with the world title already on his resume. With 1/3 of the season in the books, the series gets set to reach new heights as the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship comes to Lakewood, Colorado.
We're just outside of Denver, Colorado. The Mile High City's hosting this round 5 of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship, the Toyota Trucks Thunder Valley National in Lakewood, Colorado. Hello everyone, Jason Wygant, joined by 4-time AMA National Champion Jeff Emig for Speed's continuing coverage of the 250 class. Great racing as always in this division. We'll give you some of the storylines that we're going to follow as we look at our big picture from Thunder Valley. Now in this class it's supposed to be all about the big, expensive, high horsepower bikes, but instead we've got a privateer making noise. Darryn Durham has had some breakthroughs the last couple of weeks, battling for a podium finish. Maybe today will be the race that he gets it. And we're racing in the Rockies. All this elevation means a whole lot less horsepower for the bikes, and it's going to be a whole lot harder to breathe if you're an athlete trying to complete a motocross race. So we'll keep an eye on that all day long. Dean Wilson has been looking for his first overall victory this year. He starts today off well as the fastest rider in timed practice. So Jeff Emig, this 250 class is always topsy-turvy, all sorts of mixed up. What do you think we have in store for us today?
Well, a lot of struggle right now. The engines are going to struggle to make horsepower. The riders are going to struggle to keep their fitness up. And it all has to do with this 6,100 feet above sea level elevation that we have.
Let's send it down to Aaron Bates for the Progressive pre-race report. Aaron?
Amateurs seem to come pretty easy for the number 37 of Darryn Durham, but 3 years ago when he turned pro, he quickly realized that he is in store for a very determined and hardworking route. He said, coming into amateurs, one thing, turning into pro, he's got no nutritionist, no coach, no trainer, so he's been picking things up along the way and applying them onto his game. We caught up with the underdog to find out what it's like to now be on the radar.
Yeah, we're on a low budget team, you know, it's just, we got some bikes from Morgantown Power Sports, and you know, we pop them up and go racing. It's tough. It's like a long learning thing. You know, there's a lot to win in pro races where there's not a lot to win in amateur races. So, you know, I finally got it figured out, and I think I can win some races now.
What a performance by the 37 of Darryn Durham. Got a lot of experience on the track at High Point because he grew up racing here, but it is a whole different story when you're at the very, very top level of the game, and he is pulling away from the best 250 riders in the world. This is an amazing performance.
High Point was awesome. I was just, I don't know, man, I got a good start, and I knew where to start, knew where to line up, so I just picked the gate and went as fast as I could for as long as I could until the nerves got me, and then, but I don't know, it'll be good. I think I can do it again here, hopefully this weekend. Those PC bikes are good, so it's tough to beat them, but I'm trying hard, and I'm going to try to get it done before the end of the year. This whole year I've had a lot more confidence than I used to, and that's, I think, been a big key. And I don't know, it's just kind of going to the gate knowing that where you belong and getting there.
Well, amazing breakthrough for Durham, and he was strong earlier today in our first moto. We'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment, but first we'll explain why we have a first moto and a second moto. It's the 4-1-1 on motocross. We race twice every weekend, 40 riders in each moto, 30 minutes and 2 laps the duration. We combine the scores to determine an overall winner for the weekend. Let's give you an idea what this track is like with our track map. Jeff, take us for a lap.
Well, uphill start. 250Fs are going to struggle. They actually normally start in second gear. They'll go down to first gear here. Up some hills, down some hills. The second moto, this track is going to be so grueling. The ruts and the turns are so deep. Sun started to creep to the west over the mountain, so it might be shaded in some spots. It's going to be really rough, especially down around this sweeper that we have right here. And there'll be 10 lines going into this tight 180 left-hander. Come through this Lucas Oil section where the riders get a chance to rest over some big tabletops. struggled to make an uphill triple before the finish and then through the Makita Mechanics area.
Here's what it looks like with our GoPro Hero onboard cam. Take us around here with Kyle Cunningham.
Huge triple jump. And watch what he does here. Sid, first practice, see how he's fighting for a dry line way around the outside. Any mistake, he'll be off in the fence. And this soft section right here, lots of lines in this track. It's going to be tough, but track has dried out considerable amount from here in practice.
First moto is already complete here in the 250 class. Let's show you the highlights of that one. There's that uphill start, first gear. Now they're finally going to be able to grab second. And Justin Barcia going to lead them in there on the number 17 and also lead them out. So Barcia is your early leader. And trouble for a lot of riders. Martin Davalos had bike problems. He'd go to the pits, get that thing fixed, come back out.
And then also watch right here, this is Cunningham. He had another problem, engine stalls, couldn't get it going. So 2 riders out with mechanicals.
Barcia still leading, but he's got company from his buddy, the number 15 at Dean Wilson. No love lost between these two, and Wilson will take the lead from Barcia.
And Wilson would have it for a while, but then it would be his teammate that was going to, Blake Baggett makes the move on Barcia, and then eventually is going to put the move on his teammate. Watch this pass here as he squares him up, goes to the inside, draws a shorter line, and he just would check out from there.
Barcia messed up here in these ruts and went tumbling downhill. He lost a lot of time. We get shoved back toward the back of the top 10. Blake Baggett holds on to win. He was good in round 1, round 3, and now round 5. So he's the odd round guy. Now what about this man, the 15 of Dean Wilson? Here's your Rocky Mountain ATVMC.com keys to the race. What does he need to do to finally get that win today?
This Scotsman is so determined to win. I talked to him this week. He's got to get the start. He's got to battle hard, and he's got to fight for that overall. Baggett had a little edge on him, but I tell you, he can make up the difference just in pure determination here in the second moto. So let's see what these riders dish out. You notice you got Paluzzi, you got Stewart, all the best guys right here on the line.
That's what I like to hear. It should be a heads-up battle. Who's going to take it?
Quick gate drop.
Nico Izzi all the way on the inside. Tried that in the first moto. Gets a pretty good start, but it's Barcia going to lead them again with Baggett right next to him. But Justin Barcia on the 17 Geico Honda has the lead. Baggett and Eli Tomac finally has a good start. The Colorado native moving up to second, and about half of the field in a big yard sale here. Bikes piled up everywhere. Cunningham and Davalos, bad luck in Moto 1. They are down in that pile.
That looks like Vincent actually on the Geico Honda. And here they go. There's lots of water on the track, a bit slippery. Barcia may give up the lead to Baggett, and that is bad news for the competition.
No, you do not want to give Baggett a good start. He's normally strong coming through traffic. Although he did have the early lead at our second race at Freestone in Texas, and it didn't work out for him. So we'll see if that changes it up. You're right, Vincent is third. Then it is 15 of Wilson. There's Tomac. So Tomac has gone backwards here. Didn't have the start like I thought he did. Meanwhile, Baggett trying to hold off Barcia.
Barcia, let's see if this outside works for him, if he can cut. Now he funnels right in line right there, and you notice how the ruts are really dark. The sun is starting to set to the west over the top of the mountain to our left here, up on top there. And as this moto goes on, those ruts get shadowed. You don't know if it's 6 inches deep or 16 inches deep, but sections like this coming down through here, notice the riders just tiptoeing, standing on the pegs.
That's Ryan Sipes on the outside of the 25. He's battling with Vincent for third as well as Wilson. On the left, that's Sipes. Hasn't scored any points this year due to some bad luck, some crashes, some injuries. He's back in action today and has a good start in this second moto.
I'll tell you, Jason, as we watch the riders funnel through here, need to find out where Rattray is, our points leader coming in.
Yeah.
Had to ride from behind in Moto 1. Looks like he's going to have to do it again, and Barcia's down.
Barcia loses the front end in one of those ruts, and he almost takes down his teammate Tomac. So more bad luck for the Geico boys. Tomac and Barcia are going to have to try to work their way back forward, and they just lost a spot to Rattray, who went by them.
Watch out the left side of your screen here on this replay. Here's your leader, and watch Barcia. He was already sliding the front wheel up in that area, so he lost traction, and they put quite a bit of water down in sections on the track here. It's really hard packing spots. Just got a little too aggressive there. Lost some traction with the front tire.
And Sipes holding his own here, pushing Wilson's challenge aside. He's in the number 3 spot. And then although there has been some bad luck for the 2 Geico Honda riders, the replacement rider, Lance Vincent, who is here racing in the spot of the injured Wil Hahn, and Blake Wharton is in second place, so the number 245. So well done for Vincent.
I'm really interested to see what Dean Wilson could throw out here this moto. He's so determined to win. He's so frustrated that he hasn't won. This is the type of track, if you get overly aggressive, if you try too hard, your lap time will drop.
Well, trying too hard or hard enough is Sipes.
Go up, sorry.
Sipes able to make the move on Lance Vincent. He puts the TNA Shred Sticks Star Racing Yamaha into the number 2 spot. Vincent third, Wilson fourth.
It's a great ride for Vincent, though.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can keep it up. He's got a very long 29 minutes plus 2 laps ahead of him on what could be one of the most grueling tracks. Oh, and Vincent goes back into the second spot.
This has got to impress his bosses over there at Geico Honda, fighting back on Sipes, who is considered one of the favorites in this tour before the year began. Let's see if Sipes can work it around the outside.
The outside is working. Let's see if Vincent can shut it off. No, through the middle. Sipes still.
Whoa! They almost come together. Sipes able to secure second for the second time.
That is just amazing. Sipes, the distance, I mean, he probably went 20 or 30 feet farther around the outside there, but he was able to keep up the momentum and make the pass as it switched back to that right-hander.
Now, Sipes ended the indoor Supercross series winning the East-West shootout, which made him a big favorite when this year began, but then a wrist injury at round 1, a back injury at round 2, knocked himself out at round 3, and look at Vincent! Comes back and takes the second spot away. That's the third time they passed each other.
Triple up here before the finish, and Wilson's watching all this, and the biggest problem for Dean Wilson, who sets him fourth, is he's watching his teammate, Moto 1 winner Blake Baggett, start to inch away. Wilson has got to get aggressive right now. He's got to find some lines and make the move if he's going to have any chance at winning the overall here today.
Sipes wants to get back past Vincent. No room here. Now, I was watching in practice. They were going over the track map. His team manager was doodling some different lines down and where you can try to make passes on the track. But, Jeff, you know what it's like in these second motos. The lines that they have in practice, totally different by the time you're out here at this point of the day.
This track's not even the same.
So he's got to figure out his own way around Vincent as Wilson tries to figure his own way around Sipes. And like you said, Blake Baggett trying to pull away. Here it is. Sipes going to leap to the outside. He likes those wide lines. Not going to work that time.
Well, then Baggett just turned to 219. Vincent, Sipes, and Wilson all at 221s. And then Durham, who sets him fifth. Lap times go up from there.
These guys are all over each other. Wilson off the back of the bike, hooking up some traction out of that corner. Is Sipes going to get past Vincent again? It's going to be a long way around. And he makes it happen.
That is such a technical spot, but this outside is fast right here. Let's see if Vincent.
He does. He puts the power down.
And kind of slows up a little bit there, and did not allow.
Whoa! How did he get to the inside? Sipes had it. Oh, that slowed Sipes up. Here comes the 15 of Wilson all the way to the inside. Will he take third? He does.
Nice move by Wilson. So now he's starting to put it down right now. Now he's got the drive on Vincent.
To the inside of his right-hander. Wilson hooks up. Vincent has shown he's not afraid to fight these guys. Look at that scrub as he tries to keep the bike low to the ground. One of the fastest sections of the track here.
Now he makes a stick. Finally, Wilson. Now what you do at this point is, well, Vincent may be back again.
This is unbelievable.
That's
Vincent,
his line.
Feet off the pegs. Manages to keep the bike on the low line to the inside. Where's he going to go here? Wilson hangs him out to dry up against the hay bales, and he does it again here in this corner. Wilson does not want this kid to get him back.
And he's got to drive down the inside. No. Okay, so Wilson now looks like he's going to solidify second. The leader is 5.9 seconds out that time around. Wilson pulls a tear off, try to catch your breath, try to let your heart rate go down, and make a charge for the win.
I gotta let my heart rate go down. Unbelievable racing. So much good stuff to do here in Colorado. Come join us in person next year. Bridge of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Moto. Watching Darryn Durham here. The privateer has been so strong this year. He is in the number 6 spot, battling it out with the 19 of Eli Tomac. That's a factory Honda of Tomac and a privateer, an independent bike. Durham, and they battle like this in a couple of motos this year.
Yeah, they certainly have, but they haven't had to battle the elevation here in Colorado, where there's 18% less oxygen in the air. So every breath, you're getting less oxygen. Your heart has to work harder, your lungs have to work harder. You actually lose more moisture in your body. You perspire and it evaporates quicker. So late here in the second moto, physical conditioning and all that, it's tough, and it takes your body a while. You start acclimating soon, but it takes 15 to 20 days for your body to fully acclimate to this elevation. So the thought of that and you know, elevation training and all that, it's just out the window. Everyone's in the same boat here today. It's just pure desire and determination, and to see how hard you can try.
So that's Durham's 6th, and Rattray, your series leader, is 7th in Moto 1. Rattray went off the track early on, had to actually roll his bike backwards to get back off the embankment off the side to get back on the track. Lost a bunch of ground, was able to fight his way through late, but lost a bunch of points, and he's in position to do that, unfortunately, again here.
Yeah, and I spoke about what the athlete goes for, or goes through earlier. But for the motorcycle, these good bikes are 43, 45 horsepower, okay? There's close to an 8 horsepower loss when you bring it up to this elevation.
Wow.
So these bikes are down around 35 horsepower, 18% loss roughly just on elevation alone. But there's some other factors in there that you have to key in, and which can change it, and you can make these bikes a little bit better.
Look at this battle. Malcolm Stewart on the left, 139. Suzuki City ARMA-backed machine, and Kilbarger Racing, the number 42 of Nico Izzi. And it looks like Stewart might have the pass made. Izzi's in that outside line, which has worked before. Malcolm's going to hold him, though. So a nice run by Malcolm Stewart, who started the year off on fire. If you remember, he led the first lap of the year at our opener in Sacramento, California. A couple of rough races, but lately has been figuring out the consistency thing, and that's pretty good considering it's his first pro season.
Yeah, and he's been really good at times with some of his qualifying efforts. His starts haven't quite been there to allow him to run up front, but his effort has been there, because it seems like each moto, at this time in the moto, we start to see Malcolm picking off people and getting himself inside of the top 10, and he sets 8th now with that pass on Izzi.
And Nick Paluzzi is going to round out the top 10 right behind them. But Blake Baggett continues to pull away out front. So we'll focus in on this. The 139 of Stewart trying to get away from the 42 of Domenico Izzi. And you see Paluzzi on the Suzuki not too far back. Battles all over the place when you're watching the 250 class. That's what the fans come to see in AMA Pro Motocross.
Speed presents the greatest collector car event in the world.
Giving you an absurd amount of chances to win big and
cutting, slicing his way through traffic. He is now up to the number 3 spot with a pass on Ryan Sipes. He is someone who is used to riding here in the altitude because he is a Colorado native, and we talked to a bunch of these 250 riders about racing at altitude.
Track's definitely different. I mean, the elevation makes the bike a little bit slower, so do little things to the bike just to change it, compression, just do a little bit, change the rear sprocket, just try to get it so you got a little bit more pep to it instead of it lugging around the track. So just doing those little things to make it good, and go ahead and just do rip around the laps.
Some small changes with the carburetor, but you know, we've gotten good horsepower at most of the races, and I feel like we have one of the best bikes on the track. So I think this weekend will be good, and these guys will have the bike working the way it needs to.
You know what? It's just one of those things where you just got to go around the corner, hold it wide open, lean back, and just give it all you can, because you know everybody's going to be down on horsepower, so you probably got to work with it all your ignition and stuff like that. But so far, I don't really know. I don't know how my bike's going to affect out here. Who knows? It might be great, you know?
We changed a few things on the bikes, and it ends up working out all right. I mean, the bikes are still good, obviously, and then you just got to carry a little bit more speed to make up for the loss of power. But it's not only that. I mean, the physical, even walking out here, you can tell you're short of breath. So I think combination of the heat, the bikes being slower, it's a bit of a change, but we all do it, and we're all here racing.
Well, Tickle was here racing, but he's in the pits. Is Aaron down there with the report? What's happening with the number 20, Aaron?
Tough break for Broc Tickle. Broc, we're just witnessing some radiator fluid blast out of your machine. What went on out there?
Yeah, you know, it started out bad in the first corner. I kind of lost my front brake. I think I hit somebody, and we're just trying to salvage some points, and came into another guy and busted my radiator. So we're done for the day and ready for the next one already.
Tough break today, regroup, we'll see you at Redbud.
And just when it looked like Tickle was getting some momentum, starting to build on something, that pretty good ride last week at Budds Creek, not to beat.
Tyla Rattray has had a tough go of it today. He is slowly working his way forward. He is on the 28, going after the 37 of Darryn Durham in a battle for the top 5. And look at them crossing up over each other on these jumps. Be careful, guys.
Yeah, but I love Durham's style and what he's doing here. He really is flowing well with the bike. He's got some serious pressure by Tyla Rattray right here, who just seems to, it doesn't matter what track he's on, he just seems so consistently the same. And it's just, he's got this interesting style that he has, and he just seems so driven. I mean, it's crazy. He's quite the warrior also.
Well, the 250 class, normally you think of it as the young guys, a lot of, 19, 20-year-olds battling for it. Rattray a little bit older than that because he cut his teeth racing and winning championships in Europe, and he's putting that experience to work right now, going after Durham. He's holding the inside all the way around. This long left-hander. Durham will fight him for it.
Ooh, he falls right into the same line. That must be the one line that these guys like, and if you get outside of that one, you're going to lose some. Izzi's in the pits here.
Izzi was up in the top 10. Yes, he has been, and by the way, that has kind of been the way it works for Izzi this year. He's back out of the Makita Mechanics area, but he has been fast, much like Durham, on his privateer bike. But the difference is Durham has been able to log a couple of consistent finishes. Izzi seems to have something like that happen almost every race. Crash or mechanical problem, it's just been tough.
Yeah, now the Makita Mechanics area is just after the finish line. Last lap around, Izzi turned to 244, which was about 20 or 25 seconds slower than what he's capable of. So something happened on that lap.
Hopefully they got it fixed. As for Rattray, that red plate will presumably go away after today because Dean Wilson might not be leading this moto, but he's in second. And with Rattray back in 5th, Wilson will make up more points. Wilson was only 4 points behind Rattray coming in. So Wilson, for the second time this year, could be the points leader when this day is over. But see the countdown clock, top of the screen? Still got a long way to go.
Boy, there is 11 minutes plus 2 laps, and it's going to be the toughest part of the day.
So Tyla Rattray going to try to move forward and salvage something after a pair of bad starts this weekend. And we'll see, meanwhile, if Blake Baggett can hold on and win it. The debut of the car show, Adam Carolla bringing his serious love of cars and serious funny point of view to speed. And this show, with Adam Carolla hosting, you can guarantee no subject is off limits. The car show premieres July 13th, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on Speed. We're checking out the 17 of Justin Barcia, and the reason why? Well, he had a good start in this moto, but he has run into some bad luck. He had a crash, and just trying to recover from that right now.
Yeah, this is after the whole shot. Watch this here. Barcia comes down. This is just through the Makita Mechanics area. He goes down 2 motos in a row, and that's frustrating. He's fighting an illness. He's trying so hard. But also, when he was lifted up his bike, there was quite a bit of the coolant was dripping out of the bottom of this Honda. So he possibly, when he went down, he could have bent one of the radiators. And those things are really fragile. You bend it a little bit. If you've got a crack in it, lose some fluid. 9 minutes plus 2 laps. We're going to have to see if this thing's going to make it all the way.
Well, Barcia doesn't really rev his bike out that hard. He's very easy on equipment. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Nobody is harder on an engine than Barcia.
That's what everybody says. Yeah.
He has dropped back to outside of the top 10. I believe Paluzzi and Baker got by him. We'll update you the next time they come around. If you look at the top of the screen, you're seeing the event points as far as the overall win, and it would clearly be Baggett's if he wins both motos. That makes the math very easy on mathematically challenged folks like us. Although, Jeff, you were pretty good with the equations as far as altitude goes. And you were talking earlier, it's not just for 6,100 feet, but the weather then plays in as we're watching Cunningham and Baker battling for 10th. That's in front of Barcia.
Yeah, because there is what's called corrected altitude, and that's based off of the air density, barometric pressure, some other things, and the teams will use a handheld weather station to figure that out. Now today, the weather is hot and dry, and it's not very good, so it is right there at 6,100 feet above sea level.
Let's show some other guys here. 152, Scott Champion battling it out with the 533. That would be Gannon Audette, and you also got Alex Martin there on the 46. So that's a good battle just inside the top 15.
Baggett is actually a lap down. He's shown in 35th right now, so he pulled out of the way, let this race go on. And unfortunately, as I look at timing and scoring, Lance Vincent, who was so hot at the beginning of this moto, has now dropped to 36th.
Wow. Is it possible, as we look at Scott Champion here in the 152, trying to hold off Martin? That is for 14th, 15th. Hunter Clements, the 93 next, and it's Seeley, Les Smith, Dakota Tedder, and Nico Izzi back at the track at 20th. So watching these guys. Look at Alex Martin trying the outside out Champion.
Both of these riders have really had, oh, there it is. There's the pass. Martin takes, that's going to be 14th away. But both of these riders have had great seasons. They've shown tremendous speed at times. You know, consistency hasn't quite been as they would like, but overall, great effort by these two guys.
There's Hunter Clements there in the 93, followed by Cole Seeley. Seeley in the Lucas Oil. Troy Lee Honda is up and down. Some of the motos he's up front. Some of the motos he's back here. Certainly doesn't want to be outside the top 15. Seeley's a guy that can maybe get podiums or even wins in these races.
Well, and that's the thing. If you're going to get up there and compete with a guy like Baggett, Wilson, Rattray, who have been consistently up front, that's why they're in the front of the points. You got to do it every week, and then that breeds your confidence, and then you start to believe, okay, I do belong up here. But when you set yourself back with a bad start, and I don't know exactly what happened, he could have gone down on the first lap or whatever, that's why the start becomes so important. And week after week, you hear me talk about get a good start, get in a good position off the start, all of that stuff. It just really sets the tone for the day.
Now, how about this guy, Les Smith, rode a Honda in Supercross, didn't have a ride for outdoor. Well, had a ride with the Kawasaki team that didn't make it to the races. Then got a ride with the Joe Gibbs Racing Yamaha team in the 450 class for a few weeks, filling in for Justin Brayton. Brayton's back, so now he's picked up a ride with Rockstar Suzuki in the 250 class. That's 4 brands of bikes in about a month and a half of time.
That's tough to do.
That's what you got to do to make a living sometime in this sport. Some people enjoying the altitude, or maybe not, right now in Colorado. Blake Baggett continues to lead. And we were running the El Chupacabra nickname for him for the way he was sneaking up on people when they were tired, and he was slashing his way to the front. But that doesn't really fit in this moto because he just had a good start and took the lead early.
Yeah, and you talk about insurance. His little insurance policy that he has right now is an 11-second lead over Dean Wilson for the overall here today. Now, Baggett just turned to 220, and we're going to see if Wilson closes that gap again, because last couple laps, Wilson has held a better lap time and closed it up. Wilson comes by with the 221 last lap around, so he lost some time.
We're going to show you how this race started with our progressive whole shot replay. Take us through this one, Jeff.
Yeah, look for the Geico Honda 17 coming from just inside of the box there, and he's leaning on, this is Justin Barcia leaning on, looks like Lance Vincent, who was there on the inside also. A couple of PC guys are all pushing wide. You got Durham in there. Everybody makes it through pretty clean that time.
But Baggett was about, third, fourth, the first couple of turns. That's pretty good for him. We haven't really seen him have lightning speed out of the gate. It's been the second half of the motos where he's done a lot of his damage. But is this bad news if this guy starts figuring out how to lead from the start?
It's bad news unless you're
like
unless your last name is Baggett.
Okay, yeah,
then it's great news.
Like
or Peyton. Peyton would be a good one there.
Let's send it down to the McKenna Mechanics there. Aaron, who do you have?
The Geico Honda rider, Blake Warden himself. Blake, you're sitting on the sidelines watching this all take place right now, but you just had your surgery. When can we expect to see you back racing?
I don't know yet. I want to give it some time. These things take time to heal, and so when I do come back, I want to be 100%.
How is the shoulder?
What was that?
How is your shoulder?
They're good. I'm not using it too much, no heavy lifting, no baseball, so I'm doing good.
What do you think of the championship that's taking place out there, having your contenders race on the sideline?
It looks good. They're always good, a lot of racing, a lot of competition. I wanted to come out here, watch it. I know it would be good, and soon I'll be out there.
Hey, good to see you heal up. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
I think Blake had to have surgery on both shoulders, and they don't like to do that at the same time. So he gets one surgery, recovers, and gets another one. So it, like he said, it might be a while. He wants to heal up. Blake Baggett, meanwhile,
looking over his shoulder, which both are healthy.
Yes.
And he's seen Dean Wilson 12 seconds back. So he's
Justin
good, right?
Justin Barcia had a crash in this one, and he's still fighting, although definitely doesn't have the same spirit that he did early in this one. Now, remember, this kid is riding with mono, and then he's had some crashes, some hard laps. There he is behind Martin Davalos. They're about 11th and 12th they're battling for right now.
Yeah, but what a good ride here for Davalos.
Yeah.
Rockstar Suzuki had that issue with the bike. The official word was it was a small problem. That's all we could get out of the team owner, but something that they fixed, and he actually made it back out onto the track for Moto 1 after a few laps off. But it's tough for a rider like Martin here to miss a majority of that moto and then to have to get back in your rhythm again in second moto. But he's close to a top 10. If he can pick it up, he could pick off Travis Baker, who has that 10th spot.
This Rockstar Suzuki team really trying to build a program. This is their first year as Suzuki's official factory 250 effort. Kind of like how the Monster Pro Circuit team is Kawasaki's official 250 race team. And Geico Honda is Honda's official 250 race team. But those teams have been at this for a long time. 20 years in the case of the Kawasaki boys, about 15 in the case of the Honda boys. Year one for this effort.
Yeah, and they have chosen some great riders for the team. And certainly we all expected the results to be better. Even the riders would say that.
Yeah.
There's just been something about it this year. This team has just had setback after setback, and the injury to Ian Treadle, and just the energy of the team just needs to be reset, and they can come back next year and challenge for some wins.
Well, they brought in a new team manager for motocross this year, Dave Gowan, who was ran Kawasaki's very successful amateur program for a long time. So he's going to try to build this program from the ground up and maybe be up there with the green, the blue, and the red bikes by the time this year is up. Stay with us. Gather together in the Arizona desert for one spectacular night. It's summer's biggest event. And Fox is going to bring you every thrilling moment. It's the 2011 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 12th, live from Phoenix, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox. Blake Baggett continues to lead here, and the gap has stabilized between himself and Dean Wilson, but he's got some lap traffic to fight through.
And he is close to lapping the top 20 is Swanepoel there, 387 on the Yamaha. He's in 23rd. Sipes is 22nd, so now that's put a lap down.
We're talking about the dominance of this PC team all year. Aaron Bates, what are you hearing on that squad?
Bones Bacon, the suspension tech over at the Pro Circuit Kawasaki, informed me in between motos that the whole team, minus Blake Baggett, changed their front tire. The track seems to be changing throughout the day, especially since practice earlier. It is starting to get more hard packed, so they opted to go with a taller, knobby tire, better grip for the hard packed areas. Tire that's smaller, a little less footprint, a little bit lighter. Blake Baggett, he kept with the same tire he rode during Moto 1, and so far it seems to be paying off.
Yeah, that tire is in the same position it was in Moto 1, in the lead.
Yeah, it's it is the actual tip of the lead of the race right there.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I mean, riders have a lot of different choices. Some riders get a feel for different tires, and different riders like different things. And you can see here today what Aaron was talking about, a taller but narrower tire. When you get into these grooves, you want that thing to be like a pizza cutter, right? Like a razor.
Okay.
If it's wide and flat, then the edges will grab onto those ruts and try to climb the rut. But if it's like that pizza cutter, then it just slices right down through the rut and just goes straight through there, and that's what you want to keep your momentum.
What's also impressive about Baggett, he was injured last year at our previous race in Budds Creek, Maryland, broke his upper arm. As we say, there was nothing humorous about a broken humerus. He was not able to race here in Colorado, and that was his first year as a pro, so he has never raced a pro national at this track. You wouldn't know it. Seems to have this thing pretty well dialed in.
Yeah, he's trying to make his way right here around Renner. There, they were both fighting for that outside line. But look at how...
Oh, and he's down! Baggett is down. He's got to get up quick. Did he stall the bike? Now the gap was 11 seconds. Oh, he lucked out. The bike stayed running. Woo!
Yeah, no doubt. His mechanic there got the word that he went down. He had an 11-second lead last time around, and he tipped over. That was only 3 or 4 seconds. Let's see, it was a 2:21 last lap. This time, with 1 to go, he comes around 2:27, so about a 6-second fall. Same place Barcia went down earlier in the moto on lap 1, I believe it was. Same fall, same thing. They both kept it going, lost a little bit of time.
Seems to me he needed to switch front tires and use that wider front tire.
And this is yeah, in that situation, in the conditions where the soil was there, oh man, bad choices. What can you say?
Hey, if he wins the moto, still a pretty good choice. And the lead is 6.6 seconds now over Wilson, and there's only one lap to go. So I think Baggett's in pretty good shape to hold it, especially the way he's been so strong closing these races this year. There is Wilson. Now, we had a 450 race earlier today, and we were talking about how Ryan Dungey had been so strong in almost every race this year, but had not been able to break through and get an overall win. Same story for Dean Wilson. He's actually going to leave today, we believe, as the series points leader. Yet, no overall wins through what would be 5 rounds if it ends like this.
Yeah,
so
Dean,
mixed bag.
Yeah, Dean has not had any major setbacks. He's been consistently strong. He's been so close. Dean wants to win, though.
Yeah.
And especially when it's your teammate out front, you do not want to give that up. And so both these riders they're just going to keep duking it out. No doubt right now for Blake Baggett. Heart rate's probably a little bit up right now. He needs to focus on this last lap and not make any mistakes. Just settle down a little bit. He's still got a nice cushion over Dean Wilson.
Now, Wilson and Rattray went through the championship battle last year. Baggett has never gone through a full season. As we mentioned, he was injured last season. Is there anything about racing week to week and experience that he might lack compared to the other guys he's battling for the title?
Right now, it is week to week. And once you start to get closer to this final round in Pala in California, where the #1 plate starts to become in focus for you.
Yeah.
That's when you start thinking ahead, and that's when you have to rely upon all the people around you, the experience and their advice to help coach you through it. Every great athlete has a great coach that has helped them get there. And no doubt Blake Baggett has got 2 of the best, if not more, helping him.
Yeah, except the other guys battling for the title are the same guys. Checkered flag is out. Blake Baggett dominates here in Denver, and that's a statement win. This time he's able to prove he can do it with the start. Normally he's been coming from behind. Now he's been able to do it in every way possible. A strong run by Dean Wilson. He will take over the points lead, but once again be denied an overall win. 5 seconds, the final margin of victory, and a big gap back to third. It has been Eli Tomac, and it will be Eli Tomac finishing in the #3 spot. What do you think? Is this what this kid wants right now?
It's not what he wants, but it's something to build on. He's got to be happy with it, but he was 28 seconds off the lead there in the second moto. And look at this guy. He looks like he hadn't even been riding.
Not even worried at all. We'll talk to our race winner when we return. Celebration for Blake Baggett on the right. There's his dad on the left, his trainer, Alden Baker. There in the middle, Kawasaki PR girl Ashley Little telling him to go to the podium and celebrate this one. Lucas Oil race recap will allow us to show you how Blake Baggett ended up with the win today. Early on, making headlines, the 245 of Lance Vincent. This kid, not intimidated, going after Dean Wilson, who is now your championship series leader. Vincent doesn't care about that. He fought him hard. Unfortunately, would run into problems later in the moto. More problems for others, such as Broc Tickle. He was out. Nico Izzi was in and out of the pits with trouble. Izzi would rebound to finish 15th. And Justin Barcia had a couple of crashes in this one, including this tumble right in front of the Makita Mechanics area. Barcia would hold on and finish 12th. Up front, meanwhile, no problems for Blake Baggett until this, with 2 laps to go. Luckily, the bike did not stall. He got it back up and going, and he would hold on to win again, his 3rd overall victory this year. He's won round 1, round 3, round 5. So by that math, he'll struggle at round 6 and then dominate round 7, right?
Something like that.
Okay. Meanwhile, Blake Baggett, I believe, is on the podium with Aaron. Aaron, let's hear it.
You guys are laughing about it. We were actually just having a laugh about that as well. Blake, what a performance it was for you today. But you were the one guy on the team that actually didn't change up that tire. And 2 laps to go, you slid out. Was there any point in time where you were thinking, I wished I may have changed that tire?
Definitely. You know, track just is so hard packed, and then the top of the ruts are muddy. So the tires just get wore out really fast, and tires started to fade away. And the last few laps, it was just really sketchy. But without Dunlop, you know, we wouldn't be able to be out here. And my team, Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Thor, Parts Unlimited, Vans, Traxxas, Volcom, Vans, my mom, my dad, my trainer, Alden Baker, my girlfriend, and Brian Wilkinson, too. Thanks.
Congratulations on your 3rd overall this season.
It's like a road racer there. Got to manage the front tire as it wears out throughout the race. Next up, that round 6 we mentioned will be Redbud in Buchanan, Michigan. Just outside of South Bend, Indiana. We'll have the 250 class coverage on Speed next week at 9 p.m. Eastern. Weekend off, we'll go to Millville, Minnesota. Speed's 250 coverage at 6 p.m. Eastern there. Then it's Washougal, Washington live on Speed at 8 p.m. Eastern. a couple weeks off, and we'll go to Unadilla in New Berlin, New York. Speeds coverage at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That's your Toyota moving forward schedule, as these fans hopefully will be able to make a pilgrimage and check out Blake Baggett at a few other rounds of this Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. Blake Baggett has got his 3rd win of the year and is starting to close in once again on the points lead. We'll see if he can keep it up next week.
Is it so?
Welcome back to Lakewood, Colorado. We have completed the second 250 class moto today of the Lucas Oil AMA Pro Motocross Championship. We will show you the results. Kawasaki boys dominated again. They go 1-2. Blake Baggett and Dean Wilson in this one. Baggett, that's big though. It's going to give him the overall win, but more on that later. Eli Tomac, 3rd. He's on the podium, that's good, but I think at the beginning of the year he would have liked to have been running up front with Baggett and Wilson, so he probably won't be satisfied until he's there. Nice bounce back for Ryan Sipes after some bad luck early in the year. Malcolm Stewart, Travis Baker, strong rides in the top 10. Let's send it back down to Aaron.
Dean Wilson very satisfied about that start. Dean, you're in the points lead heading into Redbud next week, which is the halfway point. You've never been in this position before. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm really happy. You know, I worked hard today. 2-2, I mean, it's a brilliant day. I mean, a 1-1 would be awesome, of course, but no, I mean, I'm really happy. You know, track was really, really rough, and it was tough out there. I mean, the sun was in our eyes a little bit, and it was really tough. Blake rode he rode amazing today, and yeah, I mean, I felt good that second moto. Just had a couple problems trying to get by the first 2 guys, and but no, I mean, I felt like I rode a good race, and I'm happy to have the points lead, and just couldn't do it without everybody that's helped me at Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Thor, Dunlop, Parts Unlimited, boys at Toyota Escondido, my mom and dad, Scott Goggles, anybody I might have forgot, thank you so much.
Now we'll do the math from Moto 1 and Moto 2, combine them for our overall results here from Colorado. Easy math for Baggett and Wilson, and really Tomac. Darryn Durham, a great job for 4th overall, but Tyla Rattray, there is the damage. 5-5 is decent, but he lost a lot of points. Let's send it back down to Aaron on the podium.
Eli Tomac won his bet. He made it up here onto the podium, which means you get a rental car upgrade next weekend. Eli, what are you smiling more about, the podium or the car?
Obviously the podium, but it'll be nice to roll the Redbud in a caddy. But yeah, I had a lot of fun out there, except on the starts. You know, the track had a lot of good lines. Made for good racing and good passing, and it was definitely a physical one too.
Congratulations on making it up in the box in front of your family and friends.
We'll see if that's something Tomac can build on. You see where he is in the points. He has been solid this year, but not able to match the blistering pace that those Kawasaki boys have set out front, and that's why they are 1, 2, 3 in points. Have a look. Wilson now upends Rattray to take the lead. Baggett back by only 20. That means it's within striking distance. And really 38 points for Tomac. If he gets hot, he could do it. His teammate Trey Kennard did it to win the title last year, Jeff.
Yeah, and the riders really took the hit right here. Justin Barcia and Cunningham, they lost a lot of points today.
Let's send it down to Aaron one more time with Darryn Durham.
Darryn Durham, 6th place overall today. Darryn, you're so close to that dream, but every weekend getting stronger and stronger. What's making the biggest difference for you?
Yeah, I've just been working hard, and I'm not sure what I got overall, but I'm, you know, trying to get up on that podium before the end of the season. You know, I just want to thank all my sponsors, 1110 Mods, Volcom, Renegade, FMF, PR2, Morgantown, Dunlop, Kicker, Total Image, and, you know, anyone I forgot. Thank you. DVS.
All right, this race is over. Here's how you're going to get results. Fuel your passion for motorcycle racing. It's the Speed Motorcycle Text Alerts. Powered by Yamaha, you'll get the latest motor racing results and breaking news as soon as they become available, sent right to your phone. So simple. Just text MOTO to Speed 3 for the alerts now. That's going to do it here from Colorado, but this series keeps on rolling, and we will be at Redbud for July 4th weekend. This is one of the most spectacular races on the tour. The biggest jump in the series, Larocco's Leap. Quite possibly the biggest crowd. Why not? It's a holiday weekend, so join us on Speed if you can't join us in person. For Aaron Bates and Jeff Emig, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks to you for joining us, and we're watching some domination of the Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki team. The question is, which one of those riders will be holding the plate at the end of the year? Just gonna have to keep on tuning in. Congrats to our winner today, though, Blake Baggett.